Did you just hit record?
No, I didn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, promise.
I feel like
I
you did.
can't. I didn't.
Well, this is a bonus episode, so we don't really have to do much, but we'll just tell everybody this is the Make Trades Great Again podcast.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Voted best plumbing and heating podcast by Eric's mom.
It is. It is voted best plumbing and heating podcast in the industry
world.
by my mother.
Yeah.
We should have my mom on sometime. You would get a kick out of her, but I would not. I can't help it. It's the one person in the world that can embarrass me, and that's kind of saying a lot. You've known me for a number of years.
Sounds like we need to dial her up.
Oh boy, dial her up. Yeah. Hey, caller, come on in. I already like this episode. This is a fun one. This is going to be fun too. I'm glad people are listening, and they're probably tuning in on audio, but well, I mean, it's going to be a little bit, but in a little while, we're going to start putting out video episodes. Now, we have said that in the past, and then we didn't do it. So I know
we were chicken.
Yeah. I know people are going to be like, yeah, you're all talking, no game here, but we're working on it. Right, Andy?
Yeah. Well, we've hired the Joe Rogan, editing crew. So, they're going to start on this. So.
Yeah. Yeah. If only.
Yeah. It's all right. It's in the works. Let's just put it that way.
It is. And it's going to be available via YouTube, something like that, to be video as well as audio. So if you prefer to listen or watch or whatever, we're going to be there. We're going to be there soon. But anyway, today, Andy, let's talk about your idea, and I'm all for it. Spring cleaning.
That's right. We're coming up on it.
We are coming up on
it. One of these days it'll quit snowing. Not today. It is snowing today and has all day.
Yep.
So you'll get it tomorrow or ish. Maybe you're already getting it.
It's going to start at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yep. You can have the leftovers of my snow. It'll just blow from me to you, and you'll get some more cold weather from Canada. And yeah,
it just seems like that's we're not gonna get rid of that completely here in Minnesota, not for a while, and neither are you.
No.
The highs are getting a little higher, but the lows aren't really that much warmer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're supposed to have some like 8 below, 9 below, I think, this week. It's going to be kind of a bummer.
It is. And it surprises me that you wanted to talk about this, given the fact that you were talking about that kind of weather. So we wanted to talk about spring cleaning. And
okay. change subject.
Yeah. Let's stop talking about the weather. We haven't talked about the weather in a little while, but anyway, spring cleaning, and really ultimately just, it's that time of year. You got to look at the season's changing, and you've accumulated a whole bunch of crap, whether that's in the shop or it's in your truck or in your van or on your job sites. Maybe you got a job that's been going on for, 6 months or a year. It is kind of, you got to pick a time, and it just seems like it's appropriate, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I get to the point where, like, this time of year, we've been going pretty hard for the last 6 months. And realistically, for the last couple of years, we've been just solid steady.
Yeah.
Not a lot of downtime. And I'm not saying we have any downtime now, which basically makes it all that much more critical because the shop's a train wreck. Right.
Yeah.
It's just, there's stuff in boxes, and there's boxes on top of boxes and boxes in the boxes. And, it's just like, what the heck? And at some point you got to go through that stuff. And as the shop owner, we're a small shop. So I got 3 guys out working in the field. I'm in the field 50-ish% of the time, but I don't have a shop boy or a shop guy or a kid, that's in sweeping the floor or doing any of that stuff or putting stuff away. So a lot of times, if my guys if we meet at the warehouse or whatever, they'll be like, hey, I got this box of stuff from this last job that we finished. Okay. Yeah. Just throw it on my van, whatever. I'll take it back to the shop and deal with it. And me dealing with it is I unload it out of the van and stack it on another box of stuff that came back last week. And then pretty quick, you're looking at it going, I've got like enough, P traps to trim out a 37 unit apartment complex. and we got flex connectors and angle stops and stuff like that. That's just incidental onesie twosies here, or 3 or 4 here. A box of 2-inch PVC 90s. I just came across like 10 PVC 90s in the shop.
Well,
You know,
you I feel like this. I feel a little deja vu going on right now. Like,
yeah,
we just talked about this last. Was it last summer? You were going through a van last
yeah,
fall, maybe. It was
yeah.
prior to your van getting stolen by Bob in
By
Seattle or wherever he was.
Dirty
Remember?
Bob. Yep.
Uh, and you were pulling out buckets of that were filled with random mega press fittings. And
Yeah, yeah,
Remember that?
yeah. I do. I absolutely do.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm not going to say I got my stuff together. I'm not. I'm not going to pretend like I got this system and it works. But I will tell you that I have, since our conversations last fall, and we've talked about this in the past, I will tell you that when I do it, and it's most weeks, when I do it, I feel like I am more clear, of more clear mind when I'm on the job. I'm
Yeah,
I'm more prepared when I show up to actually order materials. When I stop once a week at the least, but when I do that and I just go through that box that I could stack 6 more boxes on.
yeah.
And sometimes I do. Sometimes I have to go through 4 or 5. But
Yep.
to me it's like this. I I order, it's about the only thing I really stock in real quantities of significant dollar amount, um press fittings, both
Right.
copper, iron pipe. I've got a reasonable amount of threaded, black iron fittings,
Sure.
for all the terminations and stuff like that. And I have those cataloged pretty good in my shop here on my lev rack, those sliding shelves and everything. And if
Yeah.
I don't go through my van, and sometimes daily, and refill the bins in my
Yep.
Milwaukee organizers, like my copper fittings and stuff like that. If I don't do that, I have a bucket of, the some overflow, but I'll tell you what, it's so easy to be out of the most frequently used fittings if you don't do that almost
Yeah.
daily. So I'll take
Yep.
5-10 minutes and I'll run through and I'll grab like my half, 3/4, and 1 copper boxes, because
Right.
it takes less than 5 minutes if you just make the time to do it. And my van is always
Yep.
parked in the shop every day. So it's easy for me, right?
Right. Well, and the same thing there too. If you're doing it daily at the end of the day, then what you use during the day. You could be like, oh, Jimmy's, I used 6 3/4 90s and a 1/2 inch reducer.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of got that already in your mind of what you need to restock with. So it's easy to go in and kind of shop for those things and restock.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But yeah, it's the discipline of it. And, inevitably, I mean, I can look out in my shop right now and I can tell you it's not clean and there are things that
yeah,
need to be put away. And I do have a couple boxes.
yep,
Um, I would be, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I didn't have some cleaning to do too.
yep.
I do feel like though
Well,
I'm way more efficient than I was prior to the shop when I didn't have the space to do this.
yeah,
Like, oh gosh, what a difference that has made.
yep, yep, absolutely. Yeah, the one that gets me in it, and it's part of the thing that just drives me bonkers is, so when I started, um, when Jacob and Miles started last June, I had cleaned out those 2 vans and we were rebuilding one and going through like hand tools
Yeah.
and some of the stuff that it was on those other 2 vans that, and it's not just the tech that was in those vans. It was stuff that was from before previous even, you know, and there's hand tools that are 10 years old, that have been bouncing around in a drawer. Well, nobody really wants to have a bucket full of crappy, dirty, nasty hand tools,
No.
right?
No.
Well, I got this stuff sitting in the shop now, and I'm like, going, kind of having a hard time throwing it away. I sold a bunch of stuff at a garage sale last year, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I've got an old, a couple old digital manometers. They've been upgraded from the the old single port manometer to, new dual port with the pressure switch testing on them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got these things sitting around and they're not bad, but it's like, I don't want to, nobody's going to use them again.
Right.
Not in my shop, so it's like, what do I do with them? Do they just sit here until they rot? No, I should probably get rid of them, or if we're not going to get rid of them, then throw them away, you know?
Yeah.
And, so that's kind of where I'm at here today is looking at some boxes of stuff that have been sitting here since last June that have needed to be gone through that I just haven't said, okay, enough is enough. I'm doing it. And that's where we're at today.
I get you.
Just
I find
looking at
myself, it's funny. I was doing a little bit of exhaust work on a bath fan I'm doing a bathroom in a basement for a customer. And I had to run the exhaust ducting for this bath fan. And here I am making the transition from the insulated flex duct over to the hard pipe, right?
right.
And I'm like, oh crap, that's right. I never work with this stuff anymore. It used to be something that we used to do on a regular basis, but these days it's not something I use on a regular basis. And so, oh, that's right. I got to go get my crimper so I can stretch this insulated duct over the hard
Right.
pipe. And well, I open up my drawer where my hand tools are, my tools that I don't use every single day, but I want to have on the van. Handled tools. Yeah. Like your hand. Oh man. It still makes me laugh when you say that. You had your box of handled tools. I'm looking for my crimper real quick, and there it is. It's right there, but it's also, there's 2 reds, a yellow, and 2 greens.
Yeah.
For snips. And if anybody listening, if you don't know what that are, it's not important. But if you do know, you know that you don't need to be doubled up on snips when you don't even run ductwork every day. And so you got your right and your left cuts. And here I am like carrying around all these extra tools. And why was it? It was like, well, I don't want to throw them away. And it was like, I probably replaced them, but didn't get rid of the old twice, maybe.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, so I need to go through. I guess I need to go through. My van's pretty well stocked right now. I just stocked just the other day. It was by force. I knew I was low on a few things, and then I'm going through and I'm like, well, shoot, I have no T&P valves. I have no pressure relief valves. Like all this stuff. Pulled it out of the shop, put it on the van, but I do know I need to go through some tools. So
yeah,
it's a good reminder.
So that's where I was at. So right before we started recording, I was like, oh, I'm going to list a bunch of this stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And I've already, since we've been on the phone, I've gotten a couple of messages that I'll have to add, or since we've gotten on the recording anyway, I'll have a couple of messages to reply to. But, it's that kind of stuff. When we set up, I think it was Miles's van and probably even mine, we had a couple of the Milwaukee organizers that we had all the little bins out of.
Yeah.
Right. Because we didn't need the bins in there anymore. So now I got a Rubbermaid tote with all the little containers in there. And now why am I saving them? I have no clue.
Don't get rid of them.
Right.
Don't.
Well, so that's where I was like, what am I going to do? I'll throw these things away. And so I actually just sold a whole cardboard box of them for $25 to a landscaper that lives down the road from me. He's like, I'll take them. I'm like, sweet, whatever. Somebody will put them to use. I'm never going to put them back in the organizer.
Yeah.
So they're gone.
Yeah. I have a hard time with that one. As many backouts as I have, I've modified things enough times where I'm like, where's that box of bins? And then I grab a couple. It seems like the long one is the one you're always wanting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep, you're right. You can hear you. Well, I'm just a perfect example. I just gave you the don't get rid of them. And you,
right.
Yeah, which is silly too. If you go in my house, I've been the bear in the family for years, like just the hardest to get along with when it comes to stuff. And I've told Heather and I've told the boys, like, basically my take on it is this, and I know people cringe when they hear me say this, but like, if you haven't opened that box in your basement for 2 years, you don't need it.
It's got to go.
You don't need it. Like, seriously, you don't need it. And then people are, but it's my family. Okay, cool. That's up to you. I don't need it.
Yeah. Right.
I
Yeah.
don't. And those bins are probably they fall right within that kind of
I think they
definition.
do because I was digging through there and I know that I gave a bunch of them away here a few years ago. And like I say, and then when we were building those last couple vans out, I was like, oh, we're going to keep these just in case somebody changes their mind. But then I'm looking up on the shelf and I'm like, well, there's like 14 yellow and black Stanley organizer bins up there that
Oh,
were on a van that I don't use anymore that are sitting on the shelf because, well, someday I might put them in the trailer or I might put them somewhere. And right now they're creeping up on 1 year of sitting on the shelf.
yeah.
And those are going to be slated for the next Facebook
The
Marketplace
reality
sale.
is you're just going to buy more of the stuff you're using everywhere else.
Exactly.
And this isn't a commercial for pack out, but like it'll just be more pack out stuff. It won't be.
It will.
You won't use
Yep.
that. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not
Yep.
even going to buy another box because I'll just figure out which of the pack out's going to work for me best because it just seems to
Yeah.
work for me best.
Yep. Well, and it kind of almost goes back to that whole battery thing. I mean, yeah, there might be better things for certain applications, but largely it's easy to be able to say, hey, I'm just going to stay with this because, hey, guess what? These all lock together and I don't have to worry about, some sort of new shelf rack or something for the different style of organizer. And,
I think with the bin,
so
I think
that's,
with the organization and stuff,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. With the batteries, it's hard to say.
it is.
It's hard.
Yeah. But, I found a really nice 18-inch white grab bar that I bought from Amazon. And of course, I bought it about 40 days ago. So I'm outside of my window of return. So I got that listed on there for half price. And, so if anybody's looking for an 18-inch white grab bar, hit me up in the DMs.
Nice. Right on. And with that, we're gonna lock her down. We're gonna call her a day and have a good one, dude.
That's right.
Enjoy your cleaning.
No, I will.
All right.
Thanks.
See you.